Hello. Today we are going to explore features of modern drama in English literature. Modern drama was established in English literature during the 20th century and it exhibits several distinctive features on stage. So first one is realism. Realism is the hallmark of modern English drama. We know playwrights like Henry Gibson, George Bernard Shaw, John Galsworthy, all these playwrights gave importance for portraying real life problems in a very realistic manner on stage. They tackled issues related to marriage, justice, law, and also social reforms. See, for example, Henrik Ibsen's play A Doll's House exemplifies a realistic approach in modern theatre. Modern drama is also known as play of ideas because playwrights uses the stage to express and convey their concepts or ideas within the society, about the society. Rather than giving emphasis on action, modern playwrights gave emphasis on their concepts or ideas. That's why modern drama is also known as play of ideas. We can also see in a very mild undercurrent so in some modern plays, such as plays of J.M. Barrie and all, some revived elements of romanticism on the stage. Inspired by earlier Jacobean as well as Elizabethan traditions, poets like T.S. Eliot, Christopher Fry, and all composed poetic dramas during the later phase of modern English drama. We know T.S. Eliot's Murder in the Cathedral. It's a best known classical example for verse play or poetic play. So, poetic plays are there. You can also see historical as well as biographical plays in modern drama. Important movement related to this modern theatrical approach is Irish movement. During the middle phase of modernist drama, this it includes plays of Irish playwrights like W.B. Yeats, who infused a spirit of nationalism. Irish, we know about the revival or the emergence of Abbey theatre and revival of Irish vernacular languages through these plays and all. Irish literary movement is also a part of this modern theatrical revival. Now, comedy of manners is of course there. Then impressionism, expressionism like concepts were launched from visual arts to modern theatre. So, in summary, we can see that this modern drama reflects realism. It engages with ideas of the playwrights and it encompasses various styles as well as themes. So, modern drama brought significant changes to the theatrical conventions. We can also see this drama of ideas or modern dramas um, always do some kind of psychological explorations because these modernism is influenced by findings and ideas of psychology. In order to understand the undercurrents of modern as well as postmodern age in depth, you can watch a video on modern and postmodernist literature. The link is available in the description box. Please go through that. So, modernist vibes are always influenced by findings in psychologies, and these artists prioritize portraying portraying the inner nature of the characters, inner workings of the characters. So, melodrama will be all this. Rather than getting overly melodramatic as well as romantic vibes, these psychological themes are used. Psychoanalysis is used as a tool to explore the characters. Characterization was given more importance. Modern drama explores various styles, including realism, naturalism, satire, existentialism, and even absurdist drama is a major genre belonging to this modernist literature. So, modern drama intelligently grapples life's complexities of that time, of modern age. Now, let's examine key techniques as well as features of modern drama and how modern drama was instrumental in breaking from classical conventions as well as how it focused on the exploration of complex psychological, social, as well as existential themes. Major convention of modern drama was realism. Realism is a key element in modern plays. In realist drama, we can see well-rounded characters with imperfections, desires, as well as credible emotions. That means modern plays always mirror real people rather than symbolic figures. You can see authentic character, realistic portrayal of the characters or human beings are well established in modern drama, modern plays. And when you come to the settings of such realistic plays, we can see the properties or props are carefully selected and spatial design accurately reflect the time, locale, as well as the society represented in the story in order to give it a realistic touch. And realistic plays often tackle prevailing social challenges. Existing social challenges are well addressed in realistic plays. So these social challenges or social issues became central to the plot. And what about dialogue rendering? With respect to dialogue rendering, we can see genuine conversations and realistic dialogues will be there. Not overly expressed dialogues won't be there, but rather than they focuses on realistic, real life conversations. And the theater explores the narratives of everyday life, appealing to, that's why it appeals to attracts a wider audience. And often this can be considered as a social critique or societal critique, or social criticism can be seen in as a part of this realistic convention. So objective portrayal of life is there. Then realistic plays portrays ordinary characters, highlights common struggles as well as the moral dilemmas of the protagonist. They addresses social issues. Realism in modern drama often addresses social issues such as poverty, inequality, gender roles, as well as flaws or faults of social institutions. So it always stands for social criticism because the stage become a place for examining and critiquing the imperfections of the societies as well as its bias. It expanded to include the narratives of ordinary or day-to-day life. So we know that people around us are personas with their own imperfections, insecurities, desires. So their credible emotions were aptly mirrored in modern plays. Next important convention is naturalism. Naturalism is a philosophy that asserts only natural laws and force operates the nature, including supernatural elements. There are ontological naturalism, methodological naturalism, and also the historical influence were from philosophers like Willard Van Orman as well as George Santayana. They argued that the success of naturalism in science should extend to philosophy, creating a continuum between two disciplines. But when you come to modern theater, let's see how naturalism as a philosophy is being employed. So when you come to modern plays, naturalism in theater emerged during late 19th as well as early 20th centuries. Main purpose of naturalism is to create an illusion of reality on stage. So realism depicts societal problems, issues, or real life characters in the stage. On the other hand, naturalism aims to create an illusion of reality on the stage. So we can say that naturalistic plays strive for realism. Realistic representation was highly appreciated, and the characters are grounded in their heredity and environment. Ordinary or day-to-day settings are there, and performances often avoids theatrical flamboyance. You can see meaningful conflicts. The conflicts in natural plays address significant or life-altering issues rather than trivial matters. On the other hand, on realistic plays, you can see they issues trivial, day-to-day, mundane matters on stage. On the other hand, when you come to naturalism, the conflict addressed in the plays are not trivial matters, but some life-changing issues. So it often focuses on simplicity. Plays avoid complicated subplots or lengthy exposition, but rather than it focuses on simplicity. Naturalism draws from Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, which emphasizes on hereditary as well as social environment in shaping the character and their characters and their behavior. When you come to acting style, actors aim to recreate the impression of reality using everyday speech forms in a very plausible right. So we can say that this naturalism is an extension of reality because it emphasizes the detailed and precise description of settings with an almost scientific approach to character and environment. Next important feature of naturalism is determinism, where characters in naturalistic plays are often portrayed as products of their environment, heredity, and social conditions with less control over their fate. That means naturalism often expresses the inherent theme of inherent natural order in the universe rather than ethereal explanations. Some of the notable naturalistic plays are The Power of Darkness, written in 1886 by Leo Tolstoy. The Father, published in 1887 by August Strindberg. August Strindberg's Miss Julie, published in the year 1888. Creditors, published in the year 1889. These all are famous, notable naturalistic plays. Alansky Przemysłowski's A Bitter Fate, published in 1859, and Gerhard Hauptmann's The Weavers, published in the year 1892. All these are plays adhering to the principles of naturalism, portraying realistic characters, meaningful conflicts, and everyday life. So these are all some of the important features of modern play. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Hi, all, welcome. Modern English Drama Part 2. Today's classes we are going to discuss about theatrical techniques used in modern drama. So there are a lot of theatrical techniques that are used in modern drama that help to incorporate a wide range of experimental methods that challenge traditional storytelling as well as traditional stage setting. Some of the most prominent techniques include, first one is breaking the fourth wall. So the fourth wall refers to the imaginary barrier between actors on the stage and the audience. The other three walls are the physical walls of the stage set. Three physical walls will be there, right? And there will be an unseen imaginary barrier between audience and actors. And actually, this imaginary wall or barrier can be considered as a distance that separates actors from the audience. So which are the other three walls? The other three walls are the physical walls present on the stage. So breaking the fourth wall means breaking this imaginary distance between actors on the stage as well as the audience. So the invisible wall is actually a concept which exists between the stage and the audience. There is, in physical reality, you cannot see any wall, but this fourth wall is actually the invisible wall. Rather, it is the imaginary barrier which exists between stage and audience. Breaking the fourth wall is a concept popularized by playwrights like Bertolt Brecht, which is used to remind the audience that they are watching a play and to engage themselves in the narrative. So Brechtian theater is considered as anti-Aristotelian theater because Aristotle demands that you have to empathize with the characters, which helps in an emotional cleansing through catharsis. Catharsis means purgation of emotions like pity and fear. But here, breaking the fourth wall actually calls for an estrangement effect or alienation effect, where this technique or alienation effect or distancing effect aims to prevent the audience from becoming emotionally involved with the character and the narrative. So instead, it encourages viewers to adopt a more detached perspective, allowing them to reflect on socio-political contents available in the play. So Brecht employs various methods to achieve this alienation effect. Characters might speak directly to the audience, thereby you can see breaking of the fourth wall, right? What if character speaks directly to the audience or actors speak directly to the audience? That imaginary barrier or the fourth wall will be broken, right? So characters speak directly to the audience in Brechtian stage, and there will be visible stage elements. like the mechanics of theaters, like when settings are changed, all these things are were made visible so that audience um, reminds the audience that, so all these things reminds the audience that they are merely watching a performance, right? There will be interactions in between narratives, like there will be projections or commentaries to interrupt the narrative flow and provide the context or analysis. And all these results, and also additionally non-realistic acting will be there. That means actors step out of the character to comment on their roles or action, so emphasize the artificiality of the very performance. So all these are some of the ways in which alienation effect is brought about, and all these things. So Brahatyan's goal was to make the audience think critically about the issues presented in the play. He don't want audience to get emotionally absorbed or attached in the play. So this is actually, so breaking the fourth wall means that invisible barrier between actors and audience are are not are broken, in the sense, or thereby preventing audience to get emotionally absorbed or engaged in the play. So this is a very concept of breaking the fourth wall. Second modern technique, theatrical technique, is non-linear narratives. Non-linear narratives, then narratives will be non-linear. That means the chronology will be disrupted, or the chronological order in the play, in the plot, will be disrupted. So this approach can create enhance the complexity of storytelling, and the audience has have to piece together the narratives. So, key features of nonlinear narratives are flashbacks and flash forwards. Flashback means and flash forwards means the narratives will be shuttled to and fro from past as well as future. Multiple perspectives will be employed. That means viewpoints of different characters will be shown, often revealing various aspects of the same event. The way one character look into a single event will be different from the way another character perceive that same event, right? So multiple perspectives will be aptly employed. You can see dream sequences as well as memories, which can blur the lines between reality as well as imagination. And also, often you can also see parallel plot lines or storylines. So modern drama often experiments with time. It often disrupts the chronological order of the events. That's what is meant by non-linear narratives. And third is meta theater. Meta theater refers to the elements of play that invites your attention, to the audience attention, to the nature of theater as a drama or art form, or the circumstances of its performances and all. So this concept involves a self-conscious and self-referential approach. We have studied about metafiction. Metafiction means fiction about fiction. So meta theater means drama about drama, or theater is about theater. Theater which draws attention to the nature of the theater itself. So key features of meta theater is, of course, breaking of the fourth wall, because characters directly engages with the audiences. Characters acknowledges the presence of the audience. So in meta theater, you can see play within the plays will be there, which highlights the constructed nature of the narrative. Self-referentiality will be there. Narrative structure will be often abrupted in such meta theater. Famous example of meta theater is Six Characters in Search of an Author by Luigi Pirandello, where you can see in a meta theater, you can see the characters will be in search of their authors, which blurs the lines between fiction and reality. Then Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, played by Tom Stoppard. So this character from Hamlet explores their existence and nature of their roles. So meta theater actually challenges the audience to think critically about nature of the theater and its relationship with reality. That means the place will be self-aware, or meta theater um, brings the attention of the theatrical elements of the theater to the audience. It is drama on drama, if you want to say. Now let's move on to the another feature of modern theater, that is minimalistic stage setting. That means modern drama often employs minimalistic stage setting in order to give attention on the actors and dialogue rather than elaborate scenery. The stage settings will be minimal. Now, in modern theaters, you can see the integration of multimedia as well as technologies. So, these techniques are increasingly common in contemporary performances. So, you can see a new forms of storytelling that combine live action with digital elements. Now, we can discuss about various kinds of theaters. First one is devised theater. So in devised theater, you can see this script and theater making or performance will be the result of collective effort from actors, directors, sometimes designers. All these guys works together to develop the performance. There will be improvisation of materials will be there, which will be this device theater is more flexible in nature because the process is adaptable, and there will be diverse sources. Inspiration for this device theater come from diverse sources, including images, themes, historical documents, rather than relying solely upon a single line of text. So, device theater can be considered as an collaborative form of theater making where the script is created as a result of collective effort, often through improvisation as well as experimentation. Next is site specific theater. So, as the name indicates, site specific theater is a form of theatrical production that is performed in a specially adapted location rather than in a traditional theater. Location will be specially adapted as per the performance in site specific theater. So, this type of performances uses the characteristics of the chosen site for their narration, and there will be more immersive experience for the audience. Unique locations will be there. You can see an integration with the environment will be highly appreciated. Often audience interactions can be laid out. This theater is more flexible in nature. So this performance is fit to specific site, and it requires more it requires more um, solutions to address its creative as well as logistic challenges. So that's all about site specific theater. Next is hello all. So today we are going to discuss about modern English drama part 3. So here you can see verbatim theater. What is verbatim theater? In verbatim theater, you can see that they use as the exact words spoken by real people to create a performance. Their words can be often taken from interviews, testimonials, media footage, and so on, and they are used to explore real life events. So, verbatim theater explores real life interviews and speeches, and this approach can bring a documentary style to the stage. There are two kinds of verbatim. First one is headphone verbatim, where actors listen to the recordings, pre-recorded audios through their headphones, and they repeat exactly what they were hearing, including the tone as well as poses. There are transcribed verbatims, where actors perform from written transcripts of the recordings or testimonials. So it is a very authentic form of theater, and the actors are intended to accurately represent the words of people exactly as they are using in the social context. So it allows multiple voices and perspectives to be heard, and often it it is intended to bring to the mainstream stories that may not be covered by traditional journalism. So these are all about verbatim theater. Next is fragmentation. Fragmentation is another theatrical technique employed by modern dramatists. We know what fragmentation is. We have already seen what is fragmentation when we discussed about modern as well as postmodern age, right? Fragmentation, how fragmentation of the society has got reflected in the in literature as well as in performing arts like theater. So it involves here in theatrical technique, it involves breaking up of narrative, dialogue, or action into disjoint pieces. So this can create a sense of chaos or reflect the fragmented nature of modern life. It's often seen in postmodernist as well as absurdist plays. A typical example is we know Thomas Beckett's Waiting for Godot. So fragmented nature of the society has got explicitly represented in the theater also. Next important uh, theater of modern ages, physical theater. Physical theater is a familiar theater. So in physical theater, you can see a style that emphasizes movement or physical expression over dialogue. So movements or physical expression has been prioritized rather than dialogues in physical theater. That's why physical theater incorporates elements of dance, mime, gesture, as well as visual arts to convey emotions and narratives. So, in theater, we have seen that the focus is on physical expression rather than dialogues or utterance or spoken words. So it often blends many forms of art like dance, music, as well as visual art. So we can say that this is interdisciplinary in origin. We can also see breaking of the fourth wall in physical theater, where performance may interact directly with the audience. So breaking of in last video we have studied about breaking of the fourth wall, which always challenges the traditional theater convention, right? Then it can be this physical theater can be put forwards performance that are abstract in nature. Often symbolic movements will be there in order to represent character or concepts. Again, it presents a unique form of this physical theaters presents a unique form of storytelling to express ideas and emotions. Traditional theaters are often dialogue driven, but these physical theaters are not. Next is immersive theater. Again, you can see a breakdown of traditional boundaries between audience and performers in immersive theater. That means instead of passively watching the play on the stage, audience breaks the um, fourth wall in a very literal sense, and this audience are invited to become active participants in the narrative. That's pretty interesting, right? So these can involve moving through different spaces, interacting with actors, and often sometimes it influences the direction of the plot line itself. Now audience participation is there. Non-traditional spaces are created. That means performance can take in a variety of stage settings like homes or outdoor locations can be there rather than conventional theaters. Immersive theater often Immersive theater often engages multiple senses using lighting, sound, even smells to create fully immersive environment. That means sensory engagement is there in immersive theater. Moreover, the narrative can be non-linear because it allows the audience or the perceiver to explore different parts of the story at their own speed. So these are all the features of immersive theater. A full sensory engagement as well as immersion of audience is welcomed in immersive theater. Next, so these techniques reflects diverse and dynamic nature of modern drama. Modern drama is, of course, especially due to the integration of multimedia technologies and all, we can see that this modern drama has become dynamic in nature, and playwrights as well as directors often push the boundaries of the theater theater that can and the way in which they narrate the story itself shows that a kind of breakage in the traditional boundaries of theatrical storytelling. So hope these classes are useful for you. In the next class we can wind up modern English drama by discussing some of the isms explored in modern English drama. Thank you. Stay tuned. Hello all. So today we are going to move to the final part of concluding session of modern English drama. In this session, we are going to discuss about some isms which are instrumental in determining the nature and as well as theme styles as well as techniques used in modern theatre. So, modern theatre is influenced by various isms, which are artistic movements or ideologies that shape the theme, styles, and techniques used in the plays. These isms often reflect broader cultural, political, and social trends. Here are some of the key isms in modern theatre. First one is realism. About realism as well as naturalism, we have discussed about realism and naturalism in detail in the first session of modern English drama. Still, for the time being, let's look into some basic aspects of realism. So, realism focuses on portraying everyday life and ordinary people as realistically as possible. And the characteristic features of realistic theatre are detailed settings, naturalistic dialogue, and plots that are centered on some social issues. Notable playwrights are Henrik Ibsen, Anton Chekhov, Arthur Miller. A very notable example is A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen, which deals with the issues of marriage, gender roles, and societal expectations. Second important movement is naturalism. Naturalism focuses on an extreme realistic form that seeks to depict life with scientific accuracy and objectivity. In naturalistic plays, characters are shaped by their environment and heredity, and plays often highlight the darker aspects of life. Notable playwrights are Emily Zola, August Strindberg, and example is Miss Julie by August Strindberg, which explores class struggle and psychological manipulation. Third important movement is Expressionism. Expressionism represents the inner emotions as well as subjective experiences of the characters, often in a distorted or exaggerated manner. So it represents inner emotions and subjective experiences in a distorted way. And the main characteristic feature of expressionism is that the there will be abstract sets, heightened dialogues, as well as symbolic characters. Notable playwrights who had written plays in expressionist mode are George Kaiser, Elmer Rice, and all. And notable example for expressionist work is The Hairy Ape by Eugene O'Neill, which uses the expressionist techniques to explore alienation and industrialization. The Hairy Ape is a 2022 expressionist play by Eugene O'Neill, and it follows the story of Yank, a very brutish laborer who works as a stoker on transatlantic ocean. Towards the end, you can see after encountering with existential crisis or identity crisis, Liang leaves the ship and wanders through New York City, and then he visits the zoo where he feels kinship with a caged gorilla. And towards the end, you can see Yang frees the gorilla only to be killed by itself, symbolizing his sense of alienation and lack of belonging in both human as well as animal worlds. Themes of class struggle, industrialization, or dehumanization, identity, belonging, all can be explored in this The Hairy Ape, a beautiful expressionist play by Eugene O'Neill. So, expressionism is an artistic movement that emerged in early 20th century, primarily in Germany, and we can see it presents the world from a highly subjective perspective, often distorting reality, in order to evoke emotional responses. It is intended to convey deeper layers of meaning through distortion as well as exaggeration. In visual arts or painting, it often employs bold or jarring colors as well as dynamic compositions can be seen. Edvard Munch's The Screen, which epitomizes the angst and emotional intensity of Expressionism. Next important modernist movement is absurdism. We have discussed about absurdism when we discussed the features of modern as well as postmodern age. Absurdism highlights the absurdity of human existence in this universe. Human existence lacks meaning or purpose. Absurdist says so. Important characteristic features of absurdist plays are illogical plots, nonsensical dialogues, and characters will be trapped in repetitive or meaningless actions. We know classic example for absurdist theater is nothing other than Samuel Beckett's The Waiting for Godot. Eugene Ionesco and Harold Pinter are in the row, but typical example is Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett, where characters wait endlessly for someone who never arrives. It reflects the futility of human existence at its core. So, absurdism can be considered as a philosophical perspective which thinks that universe is irrational and meaningless, and even if we try to attempt some kind of meaning, ultimately we will feel that leads to conflicts within. So the absurd um, points into the conflicts between humans' desires to find inherent meaning in life and the silent, indifferent universe. Human condition is absolutely absurd, and absurdism highlights the struggles of human beings to find purpose or create purpose in a purposeless world. And common responses to the thought absurdism, the philosophy of absurdism includes suicide, religious belief, rebellion. How absurdism approaches these concepts? Let's see. It, regarding suicide, it rejects life due to its lack of meaning. Regarding religious belief, it human beings always embraces faith to find higher purpose, but the struggle it will result in a struggle only because it is hard to find any purpose in a purposeless world. Believes the absurdist. Then rebellion accepts the absurd and continuing to search for meaning despite its futility. Despite its futility, we absurdist thinks that in order to find a meaning or purpose in this purposeless world, human beings are in a constant struggle, or human beings engages in a constant rebellion within himself. And notable figures are Albert Camus. Albert Camus is often associated with absurdism, and we know his famous works, The Myth of Sisyphus as well as The Stranger, where Camus advocates for rebellion as the most authentic response to absurdism. So, notable playwrights are, we have discussed about Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot, then Eugene Ionesco is there, Harold Pinter is also there. Next important ism is surrealism. So when you come to surrealism, we can see surrealism explores the unconscious mind, dreams, and irrationality in literature as well as in visual arts. Characteristic features of surrealist movement is the bizarre imagery, non-linear narratives, as well as a dream-like atmosphere. Notable playwrights of absurdism are Antoine Artaud, Jean Cocteau, and so on. Notable example of surrealist work is The Breast of Tiresias by Guylaine Apollinaire. It's a play that blends fantasy and reality to challenge conventional gender roles. So you can see Tiresias here. Tiresias is an offer. You can see the appearance of Tiresias even in T.S. Eliot's Wasteland and most of the modernist literature. So let's examine who was Tiresias. Tiresias is an interesting figure or fascinating figure from Greek mythology. He is a prophet and he has unique experiences. He is a blind prophet in Greek mythology. He is a blind seer from Thebes. He is renowned for his wisdom. He experienced unique transformation, that is living as both a man as well as a woman. According to myths, he transformed into a woman for 7 years after striking two mating snakes. And he has significant role in myths. Tiresias appears in various myths, including the myths of Oedipus as well as the journey of Odysseus. And he is blind also. Different myths explains about his blindness, and one version suggests he was blinded by Athena for seeing her bathing, while other claims Hera blinded him for revealing divine secrets. So we can see his appearances in Oedipus Rex, Sophocles' tragedy, as well as the Odyssey, Homer's epic, the Odyssey. So Tiresias is there. Now, next important ism is existentialism. Existentialism explores the themes of free will, choice, and the search for meaning in a world that may be indifferent or meaningless. See, in absurdism as a philosophy claims that the world doesn't have any inherent meaning. On the other hand, existentialism says that you can create your own meaning, you can attribute your own meaning for this life or this world. Characteristics of absurdist or existentialist theater are characters often faces moral dilemmas or confusions and questions about their own existence. Notable playwrights belongs to this genre are Jean-Paul Sartre, Albert Camus. Example: No Exit by Jean-Paul Sartre, where characters are trapped in a room together for eternity, exploring the existential theme that hell is other people. So we have studied about absurdism, surrealism, as well as existentialism. So connecting to this, let me discuss about The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka, which is a surreal novella that explores themes of alienation, identity, and absurdity of human existence. The story begins with Franz Kafka's The Metamorphosis, begins with Gregor Samsa, a traveling salesman, waking up one morning to find himself in implicitly transformed into a giant insect. So so this novella shows, though this is not a part of theater, yet we can discuss about this novella because it discusses about the themes of alienation, identity, and absurdity of human existence, where Grigor Samsa, a traveling salesman, wake up one morning to find himself metamorphosized into a giant insect. So these Franz Kafka's The Metamorphosis helps you for the better understanding of these philosophies in literature, how literature explores these philosophies. Next is epic theater. See, epic theater encourages the audience to think critically about socio-political issues rather than becoming emotionally involved in the story. So last class we have told about Brahad's theater, Bharatian theater, which is anti-Aristotelian in nature, right? So its characteristics are use of narrator or direct addresses as well as other techniques to alienate the audience. So notable playwright is Bertolt Brecht. Last class we have discussed about his theater, and example is the Threepenny Opera by Bertolt Brecht, which uses song satires and a non-linear structure to critique capitalism. Next is postmodernism. So, postmodernism questions the concepts of narrative, reality, and meaning, often through irony, pastiche, and self referentiality. Characteristic features are blending of genres or fragmented narratives and an emphasis on the role of the audience in creating meaning. So notable playwrights are Karel Churchill is there, Tom Stoppard is there. Notable example of postmodern plays Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are there by Tom Stoppard, which reimagines Shakespeare's Hamlet from the perspective of two minor characters. that is Rosencrantz as well as Guildenstern. They are two minor characters, and the play explores the blend of existentialism as well as absurdism. So Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead is a tragicomedy by Tom Stoppard, and it exploits the two it expands upon the exploits of two minor characters from Shakespeare's Hamlet. And the play opens with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern's flipping coins. And now you can see that the strange occurrence sets the tone for play's exploration of chance and fate. You can see soon they encounter a troupe of actors, the tragedians, led by the player who offers them a performance. So you can also see their interactions with Hamlet, where they struggle to understand Hamlet's behavior and their own purposes, often engages in philosophical discussions as well as wordplay. Now, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern discover they are carrying a letter that orders the King of England to execute Hamlet. However, Hamlet switches the letter, leading to their own deaths. And what is interesting is that towards then Rosencrantz and Guildenstern know that they will be executed by the English king, but they resign themselves to their fate. This highlights the existential themes of accepting absurdity of life. So the play explores the absurdity of life as well as the randomness of existence. It questions whether characters have any control over their own destinies because they never take any actions or any steps to save themselves from execution. We have discussed about Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead along with Hamlet while we discussed about Hamlet, right? Now next is the theater of cruelty. So it focuses on provoking a visceral response um, from the audience by confronting them with intense and often disturbing images or actions. The characteristic features of the theater of cruelty are non traditional use of space, sensory overload, and physicality. So, theater of absurd is actually an experimental theater developed by French playwright and actor Antoine Atraud. So, it aims to shock the audience and awaken their subconscious mind through intense and often disturbing sensory experiences. The theater of cruelty uses light, sounds, and other physical movements to overwhelm this audience's senses, creating a visceral experience. Here also, breaking the fourth wall is used. We have discussed about the concept of breaking the fourth wall. That means breaking the wall, imaginary barrier between the perceiver as well as the performer, right? So Atrout believed in removing this barrier between actors and the audience, making the audience an active participant in the performance, and it emphasized on the physical expression of emotions rather than solely on dialogue. For better understanding of these theaters, I recommend you to watch our previous classes. So its goal is primarily the liberation of subconscious, as well as the performances are created or to provoke strong emotional reactions, often through shocking or unsettling or disturbing contents. And finally, we can discuss about feminism. Feminism challenges, we know, patriarchal structures. It explores gender dynamics. Feminism gives voice to women's experiences, right? So, in theater, we can see reinterpretation of classical texts are there because mostly classical texts put forward some kind of patriarchal conventional kind of narratives. So reinterpretation of classical texts can be seen, creation of new narratives centered on women can be seen, and you can also see in feminist theater feminist theory exploration of intersectionality. So notable playwrights are Carol Churchill, Sarah Kane, and all. Top Girls by Karel Churchill critiques a capitalist feminism and explores the sacrifices women make for success. More importantly, this feminism addresses and prevents. Addresses in preventing domestic violence, sexual harassment, and other forms of gender biased violences. So, feminism as a theory. It's a socio-political as well as a cultural movement that advocates for the equality of sexes. So it seeks to dismantle the systematic inequalities and injustice faced by women and other marginalized genders. So, equality, intersectionality, empowerment, these are all the famous key concepts embedded in feminism. Thus, we have seen various isms explored in modern theater, modern English drama. Feminism is there, then theater of cruelty is there, then postmodernism is there. Postmodernism is an integral part, then epic theater, now existentialism is there, then surrealism, now absurdism, expressionism, naturalism, realism. So these are all important isms explored in modern theater. Hope these classes are useful for you. So thanks for watching. Thank you.